We last got together. What I remember last was you guys basically being on the train, taking a night near where you were on the train
Train
tracks.
tracks.
I should
Right.
You're basically riding on top of the train tracks, which is taking a little bit of feet of driving, which I didn't bother to roll for. And you decide to stop at some point while you're on the bed of the lake, and just get out and set up tents and take some sleep. Okay.
Sounds good.
So what happened after that?
We got a message from the railroad tracks.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so that
Message
came
from the big
afterward.
giant head.
Yeah, that they said there's a rendezvous with apparently the resistance at Copenhagen, right?
Yes, Denmark.
Denmark, Copenhagen.
And we sent them a message back, and they told us to shut the Ugachaka up.
Yeah, they said this isn't a secure channel, and because you wanted to chat with them apparently, and so now what?
Okay. Did we get experience for last week? I don't recall.
Okay. I don't think I put any down.
I don't think you did.
I will. All right. I will add that. 4 points.
Okay.
Right. Last week. All right.
Very good.
We went and checked out a few other buildings, I think. We were going to go find the...
I thought you did that before you left. I think you did
we
that
haven't
before
left. I don't think we left because we left the bed and then we went back up.
Well, you left
and we were searching around. Okay,
you
left
broke
the
city proper and went down onto the. You left the city proper and you went down to the lake. That's
right,
where
but
we
then we went
it.
back up and we were looking at. What were we looking at, Kaitlin? You watched the video. You recorded it. We looked at another set of buildings, I thought. And we
were estimating how much gas it was going to take.
Yeah, we argued about that for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we said, well, we could always go back to the Demixie, but we haven't done that yet. Before we left, we were going to go look at more things in the city here. So we had a better grasp of what was going on.
Oh, did we check out the power station?
Well, I think we were planning on it.
Station.
Okay. We were talking about it.
You haven't done it. So basically, we have the power station, we have the recycling center, which has feeds that go over to the various manufacturing centers,
right?
Which have
makes sense.
Have and then the lake bed is below that for a spattering of snow and such.
What
all the rivers that you see around are all dry.
Okay.
Let me look at my notes and see if I took any down.
There goes.
I was smart. Am I smart? We talked about looking for the government building, power plant, a library, a churchyard, and a graveyard.
All right.
Those are the only notes I have, which is pretty pathetic.
Okay. Now, we were able to get the drone up and get a bird's eye view of the whole city?
No, because it's really dark.
Oh, okay.
And the drone, you don't have there's along this, if you could cobble together some kind of a thing that could run around the train tracks, then you might be able to launch the drone, because the drone wasn't VTL. It needed some kind of it is?
Yeah, it's got
a year.
I mean, you already lifted one up, but I thought, are you talking about the big one? Or are you
the big one also is VTL.
Yep.
Okay, well then do whatever, dude. Yeah,
we've already flown around and gotten above the thing, and then we went below the thing, and we did some.
I know that
things that had information.
I know Chen wanted to know if we could put a camera on top of the drone and look up. And Mike thinks it'll take. I don't know.
That was I remember that.
Mike said
it's just dark.
Probably could. Probably
we could just flip the drone over and fly upside down too.
The drone actually do that? Oh. Hey, all right, cool.
Old fragile rubber bands, yeah. Old fragile rubbers.
They'll get you quick 2 bits on the open market.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to say something about Post-it notes, but that was a different game.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, different game. Yeah. All right. Can we fly the drone upside down and take a look up?
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. We could.
All right, let's do that.
I thought we were going to go to a government. Well, we've determined that most of the computer stuff and information was kept on computer, and it's. I still think we need to look for a government building, though.
Yeah.
So on another note, it was like 70, almost 80 degrees yesterday, and now it's like 50.
Lovely.
Utah is off its meds again.
Atlanta has been raining last weekend, and it's gotten warmer since.
Yeah, I've decided that Utah is off its meds.
Okay.
Can't decide what it wants to do.
Well, they have a saying: if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a great saying.
It's the same saying in Michigan. All right, so we'll do that, Bruce. We'll fly the drone upside down, turn it over, and see what's above.
Okay, someone give me a piloting check for flying it upside down.
Okay, go ahead. Someone who knows how to pilot drones.
I can do
Who's our
that.
usual drone pilot?
I can do that. Just a minute.
Okay. All right, Jason, go ahead.
I'm away from computer. AFK at this moment in time.
Copy that.
Plastic container. It's outsmarting me. Damn you.
Did you say a plastic container is outsmarting you?
Yes, I did.
Okay then.
I'll heat up a corn dog in the microwave.
Gross. Actually, I'm making tea, but.
Very good. Cool.
I was trying to get the tea bag thing open.
Yeah, in real life, I had Thai food for dinner, so that was cool.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It was, too.
I had a burger.
Okay. Yep.
With lots
2
of
shakes of a lamb's tail.
On a keto.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by keto-friendly what?
On a keto-friendly hamburger bun.
What is that?
I have only one thing to say about that, and that is that we had a loaf of keto bread. We had it for 3 months. It showed no signs of mold.
It's because it's not made out of anything real.
It's
made out of the same stuff they make Twinkies out of.
I'm being forced to go on a keto diet, and I'm not happy about it. So.
It's made out of polyester. Of course, it's not going to rot.
It was actually pretty
Just
good.
saying.
Pretty much.
I've tried keto bread, which tasted terrible. It tastes like sawdust to me. And I've tried
it tastes fine. I'm just concerned what I'm putting in my mouth, considering, like I said.
And then the gluten-free bread, which was terrible.
Okay, did you make the quality check? Because I'm still waiting on that.
I know. I'm getting dice. Sorry. I'm working on it. I'm looking at it. Give me a second, Chief. I'm a doctor, not a plumber. It's a D8 for damn sake.
Keto
and a D6. Thank you.
Keto just means low carbohydrates.
Right. I rolled an 8.
An 8. Okay. Well, with fair aplomb, you managed to get this thing to flip over, because it's not easy to do that. But so you did it. Because I mean, I don't think this drone is designed to be acrobatic. But
I mean, I don't know. I'll find out more after I take my drone class.
Okay. So, I mean, the little ones are very acrobatic, but the ones this size, I mean, yes, I'm sure it's got some software in there for avoiding, incoming fire and things like that. But I'm just saying is that flipping it over upside down and then flying it level, I think is something that's not normally designed for. But anyway, so you managed it, and you're not even getting nauseous flying, basically looking at everything upside down.
I got skills. Got mad skills.
All right.
Nice.
So, yes. Okay. So, you got some cameras that are basically aiming straight up, and you see something interesting.
What does he
The
see?
sky is warm. The sky is
The
warm.
sky is warm.
Warm. It's definitely
So, underground?
it's definitely above 0 degrees centigrade, which you were not expecting.
So
Is this Bizarro World?
So we're possibly underground.
Doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all. The sky is warm.
Yeah.
Is there a surface to the sky? Like, is it?
I mean, you're just using a camera that's passively. It's not bouncing back warm. I'm saying the passive IR temperature is telling you that it's
warmer above than it is below.
Above 0 degrees centigrade. Yeah, and you would expect it to be considerably colder. The air itself, is around you is colder than that. Yes. Yes, it's colder below. It's colder lower down in the sky than upper in the sky. Yes.
The little bit that I know about thermodynamics says that's wrong, but
sure.
That's weird.
Okay, what did I miss?
Well, I don't know, Cole. What?
The sky is warm.
Okay, so you got infrared from it. It's showing something.
Yeah, it's showing heat from above, from the
is
sky.
It showing a picture though? Like, can you see where all the
well, I'm imagining if it's sky. I imagine if it's sky, it's just showing me a large expanse of warmer than the surrounding air temperature. Now, using the LiDAR, I asked if we could map a surface to it, and I don't believe so.
So so it just keeps going up, or you can't find the top. You can't go that high in a drone. That is.
Well, currently he has tried to go any higher than just less than a mile up. I mean, he's just flying around right now. Inverted.
You can't really get a range on the sky unless you have something to bounce off of,
right?
Like a cloud or a.
If you fly him next to a pole, but I mean not right next to a pole, but next to a pole where it's in your field of view, can you see how far up the pole goes? Does it go like out of sight?
Oh, we've already done
If you're
that.
talking about the poles with the lights, they went up 300 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't go
so
up.
After that, the sky is just sky, and there's no objects up there as far as we can tell.
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I suggest you probably should go as far as you can to see if there's anything unusual there.
Okay.
I've already found one thing that's unusual.
Yeah. Right. We found warm.
We found
warmer. Not necessarily warm, but warmer.
Well, thinking about it, heat rises.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent.
That's true.
Isn't it like normally closer to space and it gets cold?
Well,
or is it the other way around?
It gets cold, period, as you go up normally.
Yes. As the atmosphere gets thinner, the sky gets colder.
It gets colder, yes.
All right. What height are we at now, Bruce?
I don't know. I assumed you were like, maybe above
400 feet.
Yeah, you were above the trellis over top of the city that was holding the panels that you think are lighting or sound panels, and just basically just cruising around up there, so you don't run into anything.
Right.
And looking up, that's all you see.
Let me see.
You don't
Where's that?
really see any clouds. You just basically see nothing but empty air until you basically, but you can't see when you aim, you just basically just passively look at what's straight up. It seems warmer than the air around you.
All right. I think the only way we're going to get any answers is finding either the library or these rebels.
You're assuming there is a library, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they seem to have done everything on computer, so no paper.
But there's no power. We can't turn on the computers and look at them.
There's no trees.
Yes,
They probably took all their computers with them.
They're dead trees, right? I mean,
Oh,
at least near the museum.
The dead trees were at the park.
The dead trees are the spoon.
Dead trees at the park.
The singular wooden spoon that we found.
Yes, might be worth a fortune in this world.
Sure, yeah. Collectibles.
Okay, I can go up. Hang tight. Hold on to your potato sacks. I can go up to 6,000 meters, which is
3 miles, more or less.
You. So I can fly up 6,000 meters, 3 miles, which is pretty far up there.
Do you want to go up that far?
You gonna do that?
I can try climbing. Yeah, I'll have to flip it over again.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna climb up to 3,000 meters, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if there's no resistance, I'll continue.
You get up to 3,000 meters and there's no resistance. Looking around, you don't see any signs of light anywhere.
I'll continue to climb.
Does it still get warmer?
Is it warmer? Well, yeah, it does seem warmer because if you had flipped it over again, it might seem warmer, but right now he said he flipped it back normally, so everything is coming from downward. And I'm saying nothing seems to be warm anywhere.
So the air temperature is remaining the same.
Yeah. Well, it's probably 3,000 feet isn't going to make a big difference. Maybe a slight lowering in temperature. Sure.
Oh, no. We're not doing 3,000 feet. We're doing 2,000 meters, which would be around 9,000 feet.
Okay. All right.
And I can go out to about 15,000 feet. So I'll keep going up. Up the ladder.
Okay. All right, you fly up to 6,000 meters. Okay, and and are you gonna flip over again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's surprisingly, it's actually, a second here. It's warmer.
It is warmer. Warmer, colder, warmer.
Oh, the higher we go, the warmer it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as I said, makes no sense whatsoever.
It's about 4 degrees centigrade.
Ooh, it's a heat wave up here.
Well, it's hotter than it was down on the surface. There, it was like,
yeah,
I think it was like -20.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
A
colder
nice
than a well
first
digger's
day,
ass.
and only need a light jacket at 4 centigrade.
It's downright balmy up here.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but more comfortable than our current conditions.
Yes.
And it is slightly lighter.
What?
Slightly more. It's not, the darkness isn't complete like it was before. It seems to be a little bit lighter.
Oh, lighter is an illumination. Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting.
I look at the screen, I look at the readings, I scratch my head and say, "Hurt the chic."
Hurt the vert.
Hurt the furk. This doesn't make any sense at all.
Maybe we are underground.
We're not 3 miles underground or 5 miles underground or whatever.
And how would you know?
Facts?
No, but it just seems improbable. I mean, what's the deepest hole we've ever drilled? It's not 3 miles.
Oh, actually,
No.
it's more than that.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
And it gets hotter the closer you go to the core of the planet.
Oh yeah,
Not
definitely.
colder. Not
The
colder.
deepest hole is 12,262 meters, 40,240 feet,
All right.
or 6 miles.
That's a big damn hole.
Yes.
That's the Russian
just under 8
borehole.
miles. Just under, yeah, it's called the Kola Super Deep
Kola.
Borehole in Russia.
Yep.
Maybe
You ready?
it's not
It's
a
deeper
planet.
than the Mariana Trench.
Maybe
You ready for a far out theory?
Sure. Hit me with your best shot.
Here we go. This world is surrounded by an impenetrable layer of something or other, which absorbs all the sunlight and keeps it off the planet.
It's surrounded by my ex-wife.
I am sorry.
Well, don't make me
So am
choke
I.
it's
now.
surrounded by something that's basically the same as being underground, right?
Not
It's surrounded by
necessarily.
ground.
A Justice League force field, I guess.
What's
Do you
the?
think this
what
could
was-
be a colony in space or a hollow Earth?
It's a giant black globe generator.
Maybe it's a hollow Earth.
Maybe it's.
And when you're going up, you're really going towards the center, which is why it gets warmer.
We don't have the kind of instrumentation to measure differences in gravity.
We
at the
need
moment.
some real science geeks that are fringeworthy.
You had one, but you went back to teach.
Well, that's her fault.
We could always drag her back.
Maybe next time we go back to
However,
IDET, we should recruit somebody.
All right.
Well, we can't.
Like NPC, is always possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we did get a translator once. Let me think.
Okay, Bruce,
we could always drag Susan back.
let's run an experiment. I'm going to measure the gravity of the planet.
Okay, then.
Okay, so you're going to take a certified.
I'm going to get a drone.
Scale with some certified weights and see what.
Well, that's not what I had planned. I'm going to take a rock up to a given height, measure the amount of time it takes to fall. That should give us the acceleration due to gravity.
Why don't you just take a timer up to a certain height?
When the ball
click it and drop it.
drops, I'm going to precisely measure the time it takes to fall. Okay.
Go right ahead.
All right. So we put a rock on the drone. I'm making a science check. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, well, you can put a rock on a drone if you want to. How high are you going to take that thing up?
All right. Okay, we take it up to a nice even 10,000 feet. And then we'll measure the amount of time it takes for the rock to hit the ground.
Okay.
Just don't stand underneath it.
I made my. I rolled a 5. I made my science roll.
How big of a rock is this?
The weight of the rock shouldn't matter because the weight of an object doesn't matter in I don't know, pebble.
You'll get air resistance.
Yeah.
Yes, but for a very small rock, that's negligible.
What do you want, cat? Stop
Fringe
pulling my
cat.
leg. Fringe
Okay.
cat.
Okay. So
Yes,
I
I know.
measure it and try to determine if the gravity on the surface where we are right now is the same as the gravity on our Earth.
All right. Hold on 1 second.
I
You
can
have my
calculate
attention,
how
cat.
long it
What do
would
you
take
want?
on Earth to stay at the ground.
Okay.
So,
All right. It takes 39 seconds to fall.
okay. My calculations indicate on our Earth it would take how long to fall?
33 seconds.
All right. So the gravity is lower where we're standing right now than on our Earth.
Negligibly lower, though?
Probably 0.8 G, I would think.
33 to 39 is not negligible.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
See how high
maybe
you
that's
jump,
not
Chenway.
20%, but you get the idea.
Try to jump. See if you jump higher.
I will do so.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Do I jump higher than I expect I could jump on,
Give me a strength check.
strength, hold on.
D4, D4.
It's not D4.
I know.
4.
No.
Okay. You feel that you've jumped as high as you normally do.
All right. How about a little more scientifically? We just weigh somebody that knows what their weight is?
Okay.
I mean,
That's a good idea too. All right. Angel, do you want to get on the scale?
You don't want to weigh a person because your weight
Wow. You asked a
fluctuates.
woman to get weighed.
You don't want to.
I
You
mean-
don't want to weigh a person because your weight fluctuates. Weigh like a piece of equipment that you know what its weight is.
Oh my goodness.
Or better yet, like if you
Oh,
have an
my
actual
God,
weight, but if not, use
at
some
all.
equipment.
Kenway, you are I will give you a gold star today. You are head of the class. All right,
Oh,
so
I'll
we
wear a
figured out-
rifle. I know how much a rifle. I know exactly how much this rifle weighs, so I will weigh
Okay,
it.
we set the rifle on the scale.
Oh, the normal M4 weighs 6.5 pounds.
All right.
All right. Okay. So it weighs
16 tons. No.
What do you get?
Another
Another
day older and
day
deeper.
It
older,
weighs-
deeper in debt.
it weighs 15 grams less.
15 grams.
Yes.
Well, and it's how many grams well, that's different. That's ounces to pounds. I have no idea how many grams 6.5
There are
Fifty
pounds
grams
is.
to-
There are
15 grams to an
454
ounce.
grams in a pound.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You said 6.5 pounds?
2.2 kilograms in a pound.
About
No, other way around. 1 kilogram
Yeah.
is 2.2
Oh,
pounds.
sorry, 28.34 grams in an ounce.
Okay. Okay, so if it's 16 grams lighter, Bruce, so it's about half
Yeah.
a pound lighter.
No, it's about
Oh.
half an ounce lighter.
Jeez. That's just fairly negligible.
Yeah.
So the gravity here is the same as on our Earth.
Just about.
All right. All right, which indicates the planet is about the same size
Maybe.
or the same weight. Same
We're
weight.
speculating here, but
I know, but yeah.
purely
All right.
hypothetical.
Well, I think our next move should be to talk to the rebels.
rebel.
But you have to go from Russia to Denmark.
Not a horrible drive.
You know what? Why don't we just go get an airplane from the Demixi?
All
Yeah,
right.
there's also-
Okay. If they have them, sure.
Rocket plane, they got those.
No, not a rocket
Oh,
plane.
no, not those. No,
Not
no.
again.
Not again.
It's like that thing, the alien talking to humans for the first contact. It's like, this is math. What's math? How did you ever leave the planet without knowing math and doing all the calculations? Well, let's face it, you just put an explosion underneath something and launch that sucker up into space.
Right, it's the Orion project.
Exactly.
More fun for everyone.
Big enough explosion will get you in orbit.
Yep. Big enough
Yep,
explosion
sure,
will get you
yeah.
further.
Yeah.
Continue
Yep,
making
yep.
explosions, you'll go faster and faster.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like the science fiction story where the guy, is sitting there on his backyard drinking, drinking a mixed drink, and suddenly there's this big flash of light and steam, and this guy comes out of it coughing, and he says, "I did it! I did it! I did time travel!" And the guy's like, "Really?" He says, "Yes, I am from the future." And the guy's like, he says, "That's amazing." He says, "Can you take me back with you?" And he says, "Oh no, I'm sorry, but it took so much energy that I pretty much kind of destroyed the planet when I left." He says, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Tell me, how far in the future did you come from?" And the guy looks at his watch, says, 15 minutes.
That's funny.
Good job.
It's one of those short science fiction stories.
Yeah. About 15
I loved
minutes.
in Big Bang Theory. If either of us invent time travel, our first stop will be 10 seconds from now. They wait 10 seconds. Bam. Okay. Well, if we can get a normal plane from the Demixi, that sounds like a plan.
It's my
Nice,
thought.
nice propeller-driven plane. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
All
a
right.
rocket plane.
Not a
Okay.
rocket
Well,
plane.
you guys gonna head on back to the
Yeah,
open
we'll
air
pack up our
balloon then?
crap.
Oh yeah. Pack up the tents. Pack up everything.
Yeah.
Pack up the
shit and go.
drone.
We'll drive back to the
Now,
park.
before we go, can you just like listen at the ground again? Maybe there's like some closer rebel base or something, or maybe even somebody else communicating who aren't rebels.
Well, since that last message, the
Don't pay attention to
sensor
those guys.
hasn't
They don't
gone
know what they're
off,
talking
so
about.
the sensor hasn't gone off since that last message, Chenway. So
Actually,
Okay,
I
no one sent a
didn't
message since
realize
then.
you had that thing going. So, yes, the sensor will go off.
Oh, okay. So another message coming in, Chenway.
Another
Okay.
message.
All right.
The
Okay.
message is, he says, "This, is the exalted central command warning you that your souls are, are in danger if you are let these evil rebels seduce you away from the one true way and the truth." He says, "Do not forsake the circle of man to and the communion of the saints for these blasphemies that and he says just know that anyone who goes to this meeting place in Copenhagen will be excommunicated." You know what that means.
We weren't communicated anyway.
Mike, after finishing copying the message down, says, "Church of the Shub Genius calling."
Watch out for those pink boys.
Yeah, and
Chenway is
then
knowing
he
what
shows
you're talking
everybody
about.
the message.
Okay, science people, and you're still science people, even if you don't have a scientist, because you know more science than I do. There's
What is it?
computers. I know a lot of computer storage like goes blank on the fringe path, but is there anything like a disk or something that maybe you found that might not go blank?
Yes.
So we should probably take a bunch of them and send them back to IDET to be analyzed.
Analyze what?
The disks on the computers that we found here that you say don't go blank on the fringe paths.
We didn't find any discs.
took
there's
their
yeah,
computer.
you have storage devices that work, that can survive the transition. All right.
Right.
Mhm.
No,
Basically,
I meant on the computers here. Did we find such
oh, you
thing?
never found any
No.
actual computers. You found the
No,
wiring
we
for it.
we found terminals.
Dumb terminals.
We found basically typewriters.
Well, no.
Well, translating for Chen Wei, basically.
Yeah, we found typewriters.
I
No
know
paper.
what a computer monitor
Electronic
is.
typewriters, yes. The way to interact with the computer.
Chen Wei, I suggest you take a correspondence course or something in science. So you
Look,
have
I
caught up
don't
on that.
I don't like know zero, but I don't know as much as you guys.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
Well, who does? We're pretty
All
amazing.
right. Hold on. Chen Wei, explain to these people what you think a computer is, just so they understand
No,
what you think.
I know what a computer is. A
No, well,
computer.
you should explain to the other characters what you think a computer is,
Oh,
so everyone understands how
okay,
to explain things to you.
a computer is a device which does a lot of calculations and is able to show things on the screen or sounds based on doing a lot of calculations to figure things out.
And what does a computer look like?
It has like a typewriter keyboard and it has a screen.
Okay. And how does and is there one computer or are there many computers?
Well, we have more than one computer, so I'd say many.
And how do
You're
they
on Legion.
communicate with each other?
They communicate over wires or radio.
So having him say that, can you explain to him the difference between the computers that seem to be used on this world and the computers that he's familiar with?
We haven't found any out of game, Bruce. We haven't found any computers on this world yet.
We only found monitors, right?
We found the
only
wiring.
found monitors. We haven't found, yeah. We
found
found
will
wiring
explain-
to connect to the computer.
I'll explain to Chen Wei.
So if you follow the wires from the monitors, then you'll get to the computer.
How good are you at excavating?
We have lasers.
How many miles
Laser-
do you want to cut up?
Who says the computer is a mile underground? You know, maybe it's
It
just
could
buried
be.
under
It
the
could
building.
be.
We haven't. It's not like we've tried to find it.
When I
Have you
was
seen-
young, I would use a telephone to dial to a computer that was several miles away. We would communicate over the telephone line.
Do you
Question.
think that's what the computers here do?
Pre-internet days, Jason.
I know what they are.
I know. Okay.
Okay, have any of us seen any telephone poles with wires leading from one building to another? No.
No.
So that either means that it is underground cabling along with their power distribution network,
Okay.
or it's being transmitted via some other way, which we do not know. We've seen a cable come out of the back of the why am I forgetting the
Monitor.
term for the
It's a monitor.
no,
I
it's
think it's well,
it's
whatever
a thick
you can
line is what it
follow.
is.
We can follow the cable, right?
It
I
goes
know
into
it
the
goes
floor.
ground, but you can like cut the ground.
Which means this city was not built in a hurry. It was planned. I mean, when they built the city, they definitely say, okay, let's put all the wires underground.
Maybe
Have we
there's even
seen-
a computer building.
It already developed power and telephones before they built the city.
Have we seen manhole covers or access ports in the ground to get to wiring or water or any of that kind of stuff like we have in our modern civilization where we have?
You have seen manhole covers, in the street where the streetcar tracks are.
Okay, so let's pop one of those and look and see what's underneath it.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right.
So you
all
stop
right.
your vehicle and get out and with some crowbars and lever off what looks to be like some kind of a manhole cover.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And inside you see a metal ladder that goes down into the ground.
All right.
And you see what looks to be like a conduit of some kind, like a giant, you might call it a storm drain. So maybe.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Except that along the walls, there are all these concrete brackets that look they should hold something, but they don't hold anything.
Odd.
So they recycled them,
Took a
or
piss.
It looks
bums came along and stole all the wiring out.
Yeah, it looks to you as if that they might have held pipes or
Conduit.
Or wires or things like that, and they're basically gone.
Well, that makes sense.
You see, but where they go, but at places in the wall, you can see basically metal studs sticking out as if they are wires. Like spliced wires. So it looks like they weren't willing to grind up the wall to remove the wires, but everything that connected along this conduit were removed. Just like when you went down to the recycling center, you saw an awful lot of stuff was gone.
Yes.
Control panels had been removed, and things, a few things that were left were things like, some incandescent lights, and like I said, aluminum wiring was left behind, but like things like copper and some fiber optics, which were also there, had been left behind. Things that apparently weren't worth taking, weren't worth the effort of
this
taking.
place wasn't abandoned in a hurry.
Fair enough.
All right.
That much is clear, considering that they took all their computers with them.
Yeah. Yes. Well. All right. Okay.
Have any of you seen a decommissioned missile site?
I have not. Other than ones that people say they turn into homes.
No, we didn't have.
So this is an image of what used to be an access way in one of the missile sites.
Okay.
And if you look at the image, you'll see like all these little spots along the walls and this stuff, like the hoses coming out that are hollow. And you have to realize that there used to be wires that ran through those tubes. And they used to have wires running all the way along the sides of the walls because there were brackets, and the floor has actually been removed because this used to be an elevated floor that went across. So a lot of the stuff was, so they just, when they stripped these things, they stripped these things. They took everything they could possibly get their hands on.
Yeah, so I would say that yes, that
miles and miles of wiring and copper and just everything that they could feasibly remove, they did.
And this looks very, very much like what you've been seeing.
I mean, they removed the gantries that used to hold the cables in bundles that ran along and everything.
Mike says, I've seen this in pictures before.
Yeah, this is
some of the Russian sites that were decommissioned.
Yeah, this is the way that governments clean shit out. They take everything they possibly can. So what you're left with is basically a ragged shell of what was once there.
All right.
So with that in mind, what I'm thinking is that they removed all the basic cabling that would operate these computers. They didn't bother with the lines that went through the building into the floor and into the walls of the buildings because that was just too much effort. But they could take the communication lines, the long lines, because those were easily accessible in this tunnel, which allows them to pull those lines, or you
Okay.
would go into maintenance them if
All right,
something happened.
I can follow that.
So
And you see, once you're down there, that it's, that this is actually a maze of corridors.
right,
Like there's a whole
Mm.
sub level of the city that that these things are running along.
and I'm
Mhm.
So it's
guessing that there's probably more than one level. I bet you there's stuff below this as well, like where the water actually runs through, and there's
Okay.
probably multiple layers of infrastructure that
Yes.
used to exist.
Yeah, your sewers would be below this.
I mean, this would be your basic runoff area, your first
Yes.
layer, but not intended to
Mhm.
actually move the waste. And this is just for freshwater or rainwater runoff, if there was any rainwater.
When there was. All right. Okay, very good. So are we going to Demixi to get the plane?
Well, my question is, do we want to go check out the power plant, which we have directions to?
Oh, we
And
do. Very good.
if we do go check that out, we'll see what's left there, and that'll give us a better idea of how thoroughly they've decommissioned this.
Yeah, I think we
Mhm.
should check as much as we can before going back because Denmark is a long way off.
Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, it's not
all
like we're
right.
not coming back. Well, we may not come back. But,
All right. Okay, let's set the directions to the power plant then.
okay.
all right.
So you drive your way over to the power plant.
Oh.
We got a great big
Uh,
convoy.
and you
Pretty much.
find there are these big bays in the power plant, as if but mostly what you see are a whole lot of places where it looks like things plug into these giant distribution networks that are on the outside of this power plant. Like some of
Okay.
maybe large, maybe the trains, or large, and it looks like there's at least one major set of wires that looks like it runs toward where you saw that train junction. Like
That
maybe
are
there's
still
a
there.
place there, maybe there's a place at the train junction that you could still plug into. Okay.
Is there
The
what at the power plant? What did they use for power? Was it nuclear?
Okay, so are you going to go inside and start examining it and stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you go inside, and like I said, you find that it is uh, that basically it is the power plant itself. Okay, is shut down. It's not producing any heat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
However, you find that there are places in the power plant for you to plug in power, not output, but input.
Hmm.
So they
Okay.
must have had a reactor that used to be plugged in there and inputting power, and they took it with them.
It's more okay. You're not getting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it looks like the power plant has been mothballed, but it could still be operational. But it requires power to bring it up to operational. I mean,
All
basically,
right.
capacitors have to be charged up. Circuits have to become warm again. Transformers have to be in operation. Stuff like that until
Need
the
to jump
actual
start.
power plant can get started. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do we
And
find?
this is something that should be familiar to you because you were in the same situation with the power plants that they had at that spaceport.
Are they
them
similar to the power plants that
Yeah,
they had at the spaceport?
No,
You
again,
stop.
from the main storage that was over at the building in order to jumpstart the fusion generators that were there in the launch towers.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and
So
once
is there a
those got
fusion
going,
generator here?
well, that's a good question. I need
We're
you to
looking for
make
the
me
heart of the.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to make me a fairly serious science check to be able to.
All right. I can
do that.
attempt one.
Yeah, you're the engineer.
All right. Very good. That's not bad. 8.
8. Okay. Well, that's a roll with the raise. Okay, it's pretty obvious to you, all right, that this place does not operate off of a fusion power plant. This therefore is a I'm sorry, it's not a fission power plant. It is a fusion power plant.
Holy
Okay,
shit.
and it looks like it looks like the water at one point was coming in off the lake for the purposes of providing hydrogen, and
Hydrogen,
cooling.
yes.
Okay, for the fusion power plant, but those have been dismantled, because there's no water there now.
Yeah, the lake is dry.
But there does appear to be another set of pipes that seem to be going somewhere, but you're not sure where.
Oh,
They seem to be going, down into the base of the power plant, and you suspect that they may be going to some kind of underground reservoir or possibly even a water table at some point.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. All
Okay?
right.
So therefore,
Now,
the
Bruce, you
and
said that a lot of the control panels and instrument panels have been scavenged from this place.
No, I said they were scavenged from the other places, like the recycling center
Oh,
and some of the
okay.
other places you
So
went
they're
to.
still here.
There are actually control panels here.
Oh, that is
You have
good.
you have what looks to be a fully complete power generation room, control room,
Interesting.
with a lot of controls that don't really make a lot of sense to you because they don't necessarily do things in a way you're familiar with. Because none of you guys are
Aha.
nuclear engineers.
What are they made
Sure.
of? Metal?
The control room?
Yeah.
What?
All-
They're
all
made
the-
out of metal and plastic and glass and all the things you would expect. There's fiber optics.
Okay.
There's what
Okay,
looks
so-
to be like LEDs.
So this is
No.
something that they could have salvaged and they didn't salvage. So they must have had a
Mhm.
reason for leaving it here.
Because
Right.
they would, in case they could eventually fire it back up, I think.
That is
Yes,
possible.
in case things got better, they could restart the reactor and come
You
live
wouldn't
here
remove
again.
you wouldn't remove the heart if you wanted the body to remain. So
Aha. So, should we try to start this thing up?
I wouldn't even begin to know where.
No. If we
I'm a
hook up our
doctor,
vehicle,
not a nuclear engineer.
me neither. I build cars,
I can't help you
but
here.
I can make some educated
Probably
guesses.
where you'd want to start would be the computer room.
Yes.
Okay, we will try to track down a computer room.
If they left the stuff here, maybe they left their computers here.
That's
If
a
they
good
left the
assumption,
computers
Chen,
here,
right?
maybe there's stuff we can take back to IDET.
I sure hope so. This whole setup is past Earth current technology.
Well, IDET can send over teams of engineers and dismantle a fusion reactor and haul it all back if they can.
They don't have teams of engineers that are Fringeworthy.
Well,
No.
eventually they may have enough engineers that can come and dismantle this thing and bring it back.
That's right.
Yes.
It's not
is
my.
absolutely true.
That is above my pay grade.
I remember in your reports you had, when you went to Starbase World, you had one of your team members was very involved in that.
Yeah,
I've
but he wasn't a
forgotten his
nuclear
name.
engineer either.
Oh, well, he had to sort of learn on the fly, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was somebody from that world that he worked with.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. All right.
Actually, a team of people that he worked with.
All right. Okay. Very good.
Were-
All right.
were
Yes, he
people
did get a
that-
lot of information, but
Okay, Bruce, have we already determined what power these things run on?
what power they run on? Well, based
Yeah.
upon some other stuff you saw, this thing, the big engines ran on the power packs and on the things like the I'm sorry, the emergency vehicles. They ran on power packs using 27 volts, and they were 325 kilowatt power packs.
Okay. We
So
should be
27
able to
volts.
take a battery, put in a generator to develop put in a AC converter to generate the correct frequency and voltage, and then plug it right in.
Well,
It probably
okay,
needs a huge
I'm
amount of power.
not
I
trying
just
to
want
make
to
it
power
too
up the computer.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
okay, so,
if we find the
Mike,
computer
I'm
works.
not trying to make it too complicated here.
All right.
You need to
Okay.
find a power input that you can put in 27 volts.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
7 volts DC, and theoretically, okay, if everything works, that should start charging up the systems. That's kind of the bootstrap
Okay.
location.
All right. Very good. Oh, how close can we get the vehicle?
it doesn't put out
It's
27
on the
volts.
outside of the building.
Yes, but we can convert.
What we need is a really long extension cord.
Really long extension cord. Yeah, that's true. hmm
Uh,
Hypothetically, it could work.
It
I'm
could work.
betting that there's an input outside if they needed to charge up this thing to do it.
That's a good assumption. Like all
I
those
mean,
advertisements you see on TV for portable home generators.
yeah, it's not like rebuilding the carburetor through the tailpipe, all right?
Oh yeah, that's not easy, but
Well, I knew a proctologist that claimed he could do it, but
oh okay. It was basically up his alley, literally.
yeah, literally. Stuff that in your pipe and smoke it.
Oh, that's actually clever. All right, once Bruce gets back.
So what my
Look-
thought is,
So
Sure.
agreed, we're all gonna cause some chaos, right?
Sorry, family
Hooray.
emergency.
so
Okay,
what I'm
we'll
thinking
look
is,
for-
Oh, dang, you didn't even hear
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
stop
Go ahead.
talking for a minute.
Go ahead.
So what I'm thinking is we can go back to Demixie Prime, which I forget, Tchik or Tchaka Digga Prime.
Yeah.
Demixie
Um,
Prime.
Giggity goo.
And see, I mean, they're the engineering guys. They're totally into complete world devastation through mechanical means. Well, if you've ever been there, it's hard to breathe.
Engineering everything.
Yes. Now I do not know how many of Demixie are Fringeworthy, but we can see if they have some engineers. We can get them over here. We can tell them what we're looking for. Maybe they could build us something to push power in while we're getting an airplane and all that other stuff to
Okay.
continue this adventure. I think this is what IDET was talking about when they want stuff to save the world. I mean, if we can give them nuclear fission reactors, fusion reactors. Yeah, fusion, not fission, because we have fission, but that's bad. Fission bad, fusion good. Okay, so I think this is kind of like what they were talking about, though. So we don't have the expertise to do this. I mean, we might be able to get things charged up, but we're also just guessing at which port to plug into to make a computer work. We're guessing on a lot of things. I vote, since we've already discussed it, and we actually have something solid to work with here. I mean, we could go all the way to Denmark and find out these are a bunch of cavemen sitting around, with their crystal radios and stuff like that. But now we see that this is more advanced technology than we've seen outside of this building. Everything else was very industrial and primitive-ish for electrical. And I mean, we're talking about glass tubes. We're talking about. This is not showing me that. This is solid state stuff. At least 1950s, 1960s level of, 60s. When was the first nuclear reactor put together in?
45.
I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't it when you dropped your nuclear bomb? Didn't they have to make a reactor to do that?
I don't.
No,
I'm not a scientist.
really.
I don't know.
1951.
I never bothered studying.
It's much easier to blow up something with nuclear than a controlled fission.
Yeah. So we're still looking at something.
Was built in the University of Chicago in 1942.
Right, but that was to make plutonium to make the bomb or uranium.
Still,
I think.
nuclear reactor. It still did the job of a nuclear reactor. It produced power.
Okay. And then Kaitlin says 1951, so maybe that's the first public power production from a nuclear reactor.
The first nuclear power plant, known as experimental breeder reactor 1, was built in Ohio in the U.S.
Inbreeders, which is not that far from Illinois, but
it was built in the potato state.
Yeah, you're talking about the EBR-1 in 1951.
Yeah, that's what I'm on.
Yes, that
it was built in Idaho.
Yeah.
It was designed to produce usable electricity versus, as you said, breeding plutonium.
Right. Or in their case, it was uranium. I think is what they were using.
Right. Well, no, you don't breed. You don't breed uranium. You use plutonium you breed plutonium. Okay.
Right.
If you have a breeder reactor, you're working with plutonium.
Right. But I think
you're
I don't know. Anyway,
they use now, which is what they should be using.
I don't know. Maybe they powered it off of coconuts, like the professor on Gillian's Island. Anyway,
there you go.
Everybody has to stir really fast inside their little cup.
Yeah. Or the potato battery to light up a light bulb. Yeah. So I think since we have some concrete possible technology that's usable, we can present this to. Well, first of all, I want to take it back to DeMixie just so we can get this recorded and they can keep track of it and it can get to IDET without us having to go all the way back to IDET. And let's try to get our airplane and then we'll continue on. But I do want this knowledge that this exists to get back to them so they know about it. I mean, if we fly off to Copenhagen and die, they'll never know.
Yes.
We need to warn them.
And it would be nice to tell them that we're going hundreds of miles away from the portal. So
more than hundreds, like thousands, right?
No.
Many much long way. Ship not white, ship not go fast.
You sound like British people thinking they're talking like Chinese.
Actually, that was illegal. That was the aliens telling people why their ship was white. Ship not white, ship not go fast. Anyhow, Nick Pilata wrote a book called Illegal Aliens. It was funnier than hell.
Okay, Ken, you're right. It's 2000.
Bruce, you keep cutting out, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because it's my computer is putting a lot of fan noise, and Discord is trying to prevent that.
I gotcha.
Okay. Anyways,
Dear Santa, for Bruce, we get him a noise canceling headset.
Okay. I could change to another microphone if that would be better. Okay,
But
so if you
boom!
want, I can
Wow,
do that.
that's perfect.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Fantastically. You are coming in Lima Charlie.
So it sounds to me like it automatically changed the microphone to the wrong microphone.
It very well could have.
Yikes.
I was using this microphone and then I plugged in this headset and maybe it changed to this microphone.
I think so, because it was only picking up what it caught. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So, yes. Okay. It's 2,000 miles to Copenhagen from here. This is because this is Veliki Novgrov.
No. Sticky nose groves.
Aha.
So
hey, it's the very first settlement in Russia historically. They had back in about the turn of the century, they had their 1,000th year anniversary of the town.
Huh. So that was before. Well, I don't know if it was first settlement.
It was the first settlement. It was really just a trading town at that time. Because before it was really a country.
So at the turn of the century, they had their 1,000-year. Interesting. I'll have to do some more research on that. Okay, so I'm kind of into the whole that part of the world in that time period. So, so are we going back to
IDET?
Demixi Prime? Demix Master?
It was established 859 AD.
Yeah, we're going back unless you can think of something else we can explore here that we haven't before we go back.
Well, I think we need something to. I think we need to. We don't have the ability to power up this thing, so I don't know if we'll have the ability to power up. We haven't even found a computer yet. We can find dumb terminals, but we haven't found the computer. Do we want to look for the computer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
You think there may be some here that weren't taken away?
I don't think we're gonna find.
Well, if they left it here to be able to fire it back up, I think they would leave the computer here to do it.
I was hoping they had your CD-ROM discs that you could take with us.
We haven't found any evidence of those yet, but they might have 5-inch floppies.
Those would go bad on the first pass, right?
Yeah. They might have those big cake-sized platter discs. Who knows? I don't know. We have to go find them.
Those would also go bad on the French path.
I thought those were optical discs. Were they just magnetic?
They're magnetic.
Oh, okay. So that's a bad idea.
Originally, like a platter this big was a 5 meg disc.
Yeah, I remember seeing them. They were kept in like giant cake boxes, and you take the whole stack and drop them in.
Yeah, they're literally called disc packs, and they had kept them in cabinets, and sometimes people would ask for some information off of one of them, and some technician would have to go out, pull it out, pull the one that was demount the one that was in there and replace it with a new one. Run it up to speed and then send a message off to them saying, okay, you can get your data. You got X amount of time to get it because then I have to put something else, another pack in. Or it just automatically got sent to them. I don't remember exactly how that worked.
This is for Kaitlin.
Yeah.
Dispatch.
That's why a lot of people really liked it when they went to 9-track tape, because those were much smaller. But they were also much slower. So, yeah.
Disc pack.
Okay. So, you guys are looking for the computer room. Okay, fine. I would say that you will eventually find it. I'm going to roll Okay, so 3 days later, you finally figure out where it is. Okay, I mean, you've been going through a lot of stuff. There's a lot, there's all kinds of, conduits and wiring cabinets and things like that all over the place. Okay, you finally find the computer room. Okay, and of course, when you do find it, it's like relatively close to the outside and the place you first went in. Yeah, came in from the outside. It's just, it's just the way it is. And you get there.
Always
and
the last place you look.
You have a room, and it's basically, you see this thing that looks like it's like an IBM, okay, like an old IBM 360 or whatever. It's just a big chunk of iron filled with circuit boards and things like that, and massive boards and stuff like that. Okay, but on the wall, there's actually a huge chalkboard, and the chalkboard says, how to turn on the nuclear power plant. Step 1, connect, and it basically lists out the power requirements. Okay, to accessory port A. And you remember there was an A outside, and there was there was a place, where these things were sticking out to plug into various things. There was a place to plug in, and it was labeled A. Okay, so you're supposed to take power and plug it into A. Okay, and then it says wait 20 hours, and until before attempting to turn on computer. He says, if the green light comes on, you can turn on the computer. He says,
okay.
And then it says is that once computer boot, use green switch on side of computer to turn on computer. Once computer is on, he says he says, look at main computer console and enter, and enter this command, which is basically run master control program. He says, and follow all prompts. Say yes to all prompts, unless there is, and this is and repair anything that has been flagged that needs to be repaired before continuing. If you complete all tasks and all things comes back as green, then do this, enter this command, which says activate primary load, and that will place the power plant in minimum power generation mode. He says it is it is unadvised to try to run the power plant in anything but minimum power load until everything has been, the entire planet has been checked out and basically brought up to spec. He says, he says, please check online library for manuals on how to fix everything. Know how, and if you've gotten that far.
That sounds like it may be useful.
Basically, it's like there's this vast array of manuals and things like that, step-by-step guides on how to maintain, not just start, but maintain this power plant.
Wow.
In minimum power requirement, and possibly in preparation for, or higher levels.
Bruce, I just got back on. What's the format are the manuals in?
Computer.
You have
No,
no
are
idea. They're basically files on the computer. You don't. They
Oh, they're
could be in a
files.
particular form. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
But what
thought
you're
that they
reading
were
are
like paper
instructions
manuals.
in chalk. Instructions in chalk that are on a blackboard inside the computer room.
Oh, okay.
And the computer room was basically, it was sealed. It was sealed with wax, and
Oh, wow.
just basically it wasn't supposed to be opened except by somebody who actually knew what they were doing, and so
Well, kind of
it's also one of the
us,
reasons
yeah.
why you didn't realize that it was the computer room. I mean, it was
Okay.
actually labeled outside, but it was labeled with a symbol. It wasn't labeled with the word computer room.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So,
All
but
right.
yeah, that's yeah. So essentially, they have given you a step-by-step instruction manual for turning on the power plant.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
And because apparently whoever left this place didn't assume that whoever came back and tried to use it would have adequate knowledge, or at least, had all the knowledge that they needed in order to do a good job. They didn't assume. They said follow the instructions.
It's
Step
good that
by
they
step.
didn't assume.
Do not deviate from the path.
It's good they did not
Do
assume.
not count to 4. To count to 4 would be a sin.
Yes.
You must count to 3 only.
Do not
Yes.
count to
The
2
correct
unless
number,
going to
yes.
3.
Yes,
And the number of the
and
counting shall be 3. 5 is
3.
right out.
Yes, 5 is right out. Exactly. Yes, it's
Isn't
very much like that because it's all written in Latin, folks.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
To activate the holy hand grenade or the reactor unit.
Not the holy hand
okay.
grenade.
I didn't talk about anything about all the embellishments. Okay, because it looks like it's been embellished as well with like around it, with all kinds of colored. There's like a little rabbit in one spot and other things. It's very. I mean, other than the fact that it's obviously some of the over time some of the chalk has fallen from the board, so it's kind of faint, but it's still readable. But I mean,
I'll
it's
take
just
pictures.
like this. It's
Okay,
like
sounds
a
good.
it's like a cave drawing almost.
Mm.
And so over the side and all these and these computer, this one computer console and such is in here, and this big computer and such. So it's
Alrighty.
basically you're supposed to plug into it from the outside is what they're basically telling you. You have to go to input port A and plug in, basically this voltage, this amperage, all these things like that, and then you have to wait 20 hours. You have to wait 20 hours until
everything is recharged.
No, before you attempt to turn on, it just says before you attempt to turn on, and there will be a green light that'll come on, indicating that the voltage or whatever is proper before you turn the computer on. So it's you feel like this has been designed, this is like some kind of post-apocalyptic. What was it called? The Order of Leibowitz. This kind of stuff. Yeah,
I was a member for a long time.
You're looking around for Johnny. What was his name? From the books from the guy who did Dianetics.
Ron Hubbard.
Oh, Dianetic, yeah, Ron Hubbard. Yeah.
No, it's the character.
In the book Canticle for Leibowitz?
No.
Okay. All right. Or Johnny Cab from Total Recall. Hi, I'm Johnny Cab. I'm Bush the Doctor from Star Trek. Okay, fine.
Okay, diversion.
All right. Okay. Well, now we know it takes 20 hours to get everything back up to speed of power. Okay. And we have instructions on how to fix things.
All right.
Very good. Okay.
Handwritten instructions.
All right. Now what?
Let's go find the input port to power it up. Marked with the
Sounds
big
good.
A. Look at the big A. Check out my big A.
He said, patting the cat.
Check out my big A. You're a little asshole, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are just a big asshole. You are. You shithead. You have no idea what I'm saying.
It's not just the fringe cat, that's also the space cat.
Space cat. Yep. This cat goes everywhere.
It does.
But is it really there? Is it alive or dead?
Schrodinger's cat. Let's go. Let's go find this input.
Sounds good.
Yes. I really do want a fringe cat. That would be cool.
Just start carrying.
He's smarter than all of us. Well, cats don't like the fringe portal, the fringe paths.
The cat's smarter.
They're all fringe-worthy, but they don't like it.
Okay.
Just like crows.
All right.
Right? You want to go for a fringe journey? Fuck no, I don't even like getting in the car.
I was referring to Johnny Goodboy Tyler.
Oh, I need to reread that.
Battlefield
Earth.
From Battlefield Earth.
Oh,
yes.
God, no, I don't now want to reread that one.
Yeah, I've never read it or seen the movie.
Read it once. The movie was so bad. I would want to say it was one of John Travolta's best roles.
It was a B movie with very bad science in it.
And John Travolta was just over the top in it. It was
that was actually the best part of it. Like it was made out of cheese. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
And he Velveted everywhere himself. Yes.
Oh yes, it was great.
I'm sure he had a lot of fun doing this movie.
I would say that his was the best part in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was obviously the main character. So.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, even though he wasn't the hero, he was the villain.
Right, no, he was the villain.
Oh, Mr. Woodman, I thought you was going to die, I swear.
Okay, right, so outside, you find something labeled A, and basically it has a big, it's like cast iron bolt, okay, that is on the side of the building. Okay, are you going to attempt to open it?
Yeah,
like totally smeared with like creosote and all kinds of stuff like that.
Do we have a big enough wrench?
I don't know. You're the guys with the big truck, you know.
All right.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's big wrenches, and then there's big wrenches. I mean, some of these industrial things are huge. They're not meant to come off.
I don't know if
why don't you make a luck check if you're not sure.
Will
yeah,
my
try your
multi-tool glove handle this, Bruce?
Tackle any job.
Too big for it.
Gorilla glove.
No, why don't you make a luck check?
Yeah,
right,
you make
I'm rolling.
It's like I've got a whole container of security bits for my screwdriver that I've never used more than one of. So.
Okay, only a 3.
Okay.
Oh wait, you know what that calls for?
Uh-oh. Oh my gosh.
So Jason, are you gonna make your roll?
Sure. What am I? Just luck?
Yeah, just luck to see if you actually have something big enough.
Ooh, I rolled a 6.
Nice.
There you go. Which means you rolled higher than a 6.
Yes.
Actually, no, those don't explode.
Again?
Yes.
I was going to say, I didn't think they exploded.
Don't explode, yeah.
And I never know if the luck's supposed to be high or low.
Actually, the luck does explode. But anyways, all right. So the point is that yes, you have something that's like designed for like an industrial, semi truck, a filter wrench that you could wrap around this thing and cinch it up. Okay,
like a strap wrench. Okay.
I had to go to the
strap
school.
wrench.
Oh,
You can start using that to put some. It takes like 2 of you guys to put the leverage on and make this thing turn because it doesn't want to turn. It's really cold, literally cold welded.
That's right.
Okay.
If it's
And
cast iron, it may be cold rusted too. But well,
that's what I'm
We
saying.
haven't seen a lot of moisture.
It's smeared with creosote all around. Like literally, they put
Cosmoline, I think, is what you're thinking of.
Well,
Grease.
it's basically it's grease, but it's also covered with
wax.
Roofing protection and stuff like that.
It reminds me of the
tar.
old repair. The old repair
Yeah, it's
chart.
covered with tar.
It's
I mean,
supposed to
you
move,
didn't
but
see
doesn't.
this as being an input or anything. You just thought it was some bolt that was sticking out of the side of the thing. So you finally crank this thing off, and inside you see this gleaming copper, place to put a big copper cable, probe right into it, and
that works.
It looks brand new. So like
stick your tongue on it and see if it's if it's live. Like a 9-volt battery, just test it.
And you,
no?
Yeah.
You
guys want to stick your hand in there?
No.
Not today. No.
Okay, so we've found tab B. Insert tab A into slot A.
All right.
You can pretty much assume that it's grounded somewhere, so it's not coming back to the same location.
I'll take a picture of it so we know what its fitting looks like.
Yes.
Okay.
And
you want to measure it.
Yeah.
You want to measure it to get an idea how big it is.
Here you go.
You guys have anything? You guys have any like some forensic material you could do a casting of it or something?
Oh, we might. I mean, we probably have materials like that. I was going to say I'd take micrometer measurements of thicknesses and.
Oh, definitely do.
I remember that from drafting.
Micrometer measurements. If you want to do more, you can.
Used it many times.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to put casting material over it. Would that be smart?
I don't know.
I don't want to ruin the gleam on the copper.
All right. I'm gonna walk away for just a second.
Okay.
And
all right. I blow you up.
You guys can continue to.
Well, we can take. Fuck that. Let's laser map the damn thing. We don't need to fucking make a casting of it. We have technology.
All right, let's do it.
We're not cavemen. We have technology.
We'll take laser measurements of everything, so it's fucking so precise. We could thread a hair through a monofilament needle eye or whatever you want to call those things.
Okay.
You really have all sorts of stuff from speculative fiction, don't you?
Oh, I do. We will have monofilament one of these days. We've gotten down to, they're working on nanofibers at this point. So.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Once we have nanofibers, imagine what we could accomplish. Think of cables woven out of nanofibers. Those would be almost indestructible. Wait, SpongeBob, we're not cavemen. We have technology. Yeah, exactly. Why is there a DS on there?
I don't know.
Why would you have a computer and a DS?
I don't know.
How do you like my picture of the computer above it, though? That's some high ass tech right there.
That's a big ass.
That's an 8K computer, man. We sent men to the moon on that shit. And a whole lot of magnetic tape. Programmed by punch cards. In binary. Okay. So we've got a plan of attack. Are we ready to go back to Matt Demka and see about getting an airplane and some engineers?
Remember the name of the place?
Sounds good.
That's because I write shit down.
Oh, cheater.
Yep. That's me. Cheater motherfucker.
Now, if you want to get engineers for this kind of stuff, you have to go back to IDET, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's very
borrow Demixie.
racist of you. I mean, the Demixie may know more
Did
about
they
this
have-
crap than we do.
Did they have the same technology as your Earth? I thought
Demixie,
your Earth was the highest that you've ever found.
Just because they think differently and do things differently doesn't mean they don't have engineers that could not figure this out.
Very true.
So I'm going to present it to them and see if they can come up with an answer. Is what I'm thinking. I mean, if they say no, okay, fine. Send the data back to Earth then, and Earth can figure it out.
All right then.
Check out the big brain on those guys, you know. I'm just a doctor. I'm just here to patch you guys up once you get beat up by the troglodytes that live in these portals.
We're here for something. We don't know what we're here for, but we're here for something.
We're here to look at stuff and find stuff, and we
You're
found
here
stuff.
to find solutions for
We-
Earth's problems.
We looked and we found stuff, so now we're taking it back. And then we're coming back. But okay, so we take this knowledge that we have, we cover back up we put the thing back on the port. Now that we've broken it free, we can put a little bit of thread dope on there and screw it on.
It's considerably easier to screw it back in once you break the let's say the cold weldingness occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you broke the seal with the with all the all the sealant and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'll slap a little dielectric grease on there or something and screw it shut. And
okay.
Good for spark plug, good for this. So and then we'll load up the truck and go, okay, we've accomplished this. We spent 3 days looking for the thing that we walked by at least 6 times. So well, we had to walk in and out of the building to rest and everything, and
it's like 3 days to find the computer room. Yeah.
So, and
it was clearly hidden. Okay, if I could use that term. it was
hiding in
craftily
plain sight.
hidden. It was, in the sense that if you understood all the different ideograms and things like that, then
if we knew what we were looking for, we would have found it easier. Let's put it that way.
It's really kind of hard to read the numbers because they're all in Roman numbers.
I can read the Roman numbers up to the thousands.
Okay.
So we wouldn't get the numbers.
We have most of the
language.
country who can't read cursive.
Yeah, secret code. Hell, I can't read the printing that most of these high school kids put out nowadays. So, what the fuck does that say?
It's a miracle if anybody can read my writing. So,
I literally have to input data every week on from an attendance sheet, and for those people that I will demonstrate that have to write in their own information, I have to puzzle over what some of this says because I can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that say? This one right here, the third one down.
Don't do that.
I can't.
Hey, yo, please don't do that. You're violating. See,
someone's name.
Please don't do that.
Violating their name.
Yes. It's called doxing. You're putting this up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part. Not really doxing them. It's not like go find this name that you can't read.
You got people's names and phone numbers and things like that. Those are all bad things.
Bad.
These are children who are not your children.
Actually, that was an adult that wrote that, which was pretty bad. Anyhow.
Okay. Adulting's hard.
We'll black out that part.
I will.
Well, that's up to Kaitlin. Kaitlin's going to have to deal with that. I'm not authorizing anything.
We'll put a big
writing the timestamp for this.
Thank you.
All right.
Anyhow, back to Cyrillic languages and hard to read.
Right.
So
I'm
are
saying
we
is that
ready?
for people that are used to, who are used to, I can't say the full word.
I know what you're thinking.
Arabian numerals are, might
Arabic.
have trouble,
Yeah.
with a lot of stuff that are written in, notation.
Well, that and if
Roman
we knew what
notation.
number it was, we'd be able to find it too. But
Yeah.
computer room is just number 475, and we're like, oh, but we don't know which number it is. So
Yeah.
we
So
have to
it
check.
wasn't A. It was actually alpha, and it was like the symbol alpha. So yeah. Yeah.
So are we ready to go back to Matt Demka then?
Yeah.
Can anybody think of anything else we need to do before we go? Does anybody have to go before we go? Yeah, thump. Oops. All right. Off we go then, Bruce.
All right. So, okay. So you basically go find the portal and you go back through it.
Click on the activate fortunate sun. Click.
It's and that dusky light that you're so used to on the fringe path seems so bright compared to all of the darkness that had been around you for days and days now. And off in the distance,
and it's
you
so
see that
warm.
one lone Demixie.
Yeah,
it's so warm. Oh my gosh, it's 60 degrees.
Sweating my ass off.
Nice.
Yes, because the air conditioning in the summers is probably blowing pretty high. The heat, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, why is it so hot in here?
It's 125 degrees in here.
Only.
Right. So anyway, so you stop the vehicle and walk on over, or what are you gonna do?
Well, we drive over to
the
Demixie.
You can drive there. You just have to drive on the right-hand side of the road, so to speak.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we drive over there. Assuming
are you going to drive to the portal?
Yeah, we drive up to the portal and say, "How?"
Greetings.
Do the Demixie greeting. Do the Demixie greeting, whatever it is.
No, please.
Involve like more limbs than you have, or
well, I can fake it.
Just go greetings.
I don't have antenna either, so I can't really flex those properly either.
I forgot to take a D4 in Demixie sign language.
Maybe you got to wear like there's head things with the little coils with the fake antenna just so you can greet the Demixie properly.
Sure.
Wobble your head in the right direction.
Oh, they do have they do have a lot of arms. I mean, mostly legs. They have a lot
John
of legs.
Candy's tail and Spaceballs.
Yeah, but I mean, they only rip 2 arms, I believe.
Alrighty.
Remember, they have 6 legs and 2 arms, or 4 arms and 4 legs, or are they spiders and have 6 legs and 4?
I think they have 6. I think they have 6 and 2 arms, so they have 8. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Anyways, I'll greet the guard of the Demixie portal, the alternate portal, and say, IDET, we kind of thinking about heading over. We'll just drive this time if that's okay.
So you didn't die
Not this time.
I mean, you've been to another portal recently on this platform. So.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
We didn't run into any people.
Yes, very bad.
There's not many people to kill us.
Not like the last one, which almost killed us. So,
yes.
Are there things? Are there things other than human beings on this world? There aren't perhaps any, highly evolved beings like the Demixie. There are there?
Nope. We didn't find. We didn't even find any unevolved beings.
No, nobody.
We contacted some people, but they were 2,000 miles away. So we got to go and get the transport.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we got plenty of transports.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, we knew you guys were the go-to.
Also, we found a computer, and we need to get help of engineers and like doing or getting stuff to power it.
Yeah. This, by the way, this is Niagarata Mataka.
Okay, I'll write that down.
That's the one
He
you're
is
talking to.
Dmitry that we will forget his name.
You probably, he says, if you, you know, he says you probably met Skoge Mitaka, my brother.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. You're both Fringeworthy.
I think we have met your brother. Oh wait, I can't.
He was a wonderful fellow.
Well, I can say it. I can't hear it.
I mean,
Bruce, have they discovered that people become Fringeworthy from crystals yet? Exposure to crystals?
I don't know.
No.
This is pretty early in the campaign, so they may not have.
There aren't that many crystals to begin with.
We've seen 2.
Yep.
And apparently the survey team has 1. So.
Okay. Mike will translate for Angel.
So we good to go?
Yes.
Can we go through?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As long as you don't have an armored personnel carrier with a 20mm cannon, we say you're good. Of course.
No, we left that at home.
Or one of those big, steam powered battle tanks, battle tractors.
Nope.
You're good.
No
Those
tractors.
are good too, by the way.
Oh,
well, yeah,
yes.
I believe you.
He says, the Victorians.
Mm.
Yeah, they got a lot of those.
I'm going to leave the trailer with the drone here, right here, if that's okay, outside here on the platform. Your mouth is moving, but I'm not hearing anything. Can anybody hear him?
No, I don't hear him.
Can't hear you, Bruce.
No, Bruce.
Everything that you just said. Yeah, now you're back.
Okay, weird. All
Everything you just said, we were just seeing, and that was it.
Huh. So did I cyborg?
You
just
produce no sound.
Weird. Okay. Anyways, like I said, this is I'm Niagara Tai Mataka. Mataka. Yes.
Kaitlin, write that down. Thanks, Mataka. Or which one do I call you? Do you have a short name?
Dude.
That is my short name.
Oh dear God. Well, have a good one.
Okay.
You need anything when we come back? Can we drop it off? And he's gone again.
They feed me regularly.
Oh, okay. You've got a weird delay because I see your mouth moving, and then the sound comes through now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like watching.
It's like a second at least.
Yeah, it's like watching those dubbed movies.
No. I like watching
in my
movies.
Saturday game, we have a guy who's playing Larvell Jones, the character Michael Winslow played in Police Academy.
Oh, jeez.
My character's his roommate. All right.
Hello.
Nice.
I see your. What's going on with this thing?
Let's go back to the other one.
Okay, now we can hear you again.
Way.
That
was so weird.
I just went back to the original microphone.
That's so weird.
Interesting.
Yay, teams! Or no, this is Discord.
Discord.
Echo.
Echo.
Okay. So, anyways, if I start breaking up again, let me know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
All right. So yes. So you have your choice of either taking the rocket sled, the 50 miles, 49 miles and change over to the prime platform, or you can drive down the side road. It's really obvious that they prefer using the rocket sled. So there's very little chance of you running into a problem on the side. But if you did, then somebody would have to back up,
So I was
for a
under the
mile.
impression that the rocket sled was off the side of the pathway.
It is, but there's two of them. So basically, it's attached to the roadway is 31 feet wide. Okay. And then, so they've got to basically adhered, up to, and it sticks out a little ways on the left-hand side, which means that part is actually in 0G.
I guess my impression was that the one rocket sled was on one side and then one rocket sled was on the other side.
Right.
We lost you again.
We lost you again, Bruce.
Just as your vehicle is, you could theoretically go around. No? Can't hear me?
I can hear you now, but there's a couple of little glitches, but not big.
See, if Kaitlin really was Angel, she could read his lips and tell us what he was saying.
I can read lips somewhat.
I don't know what's wrong.
All right.
Olive juice looks like I love you.
Right.
Okay, so how bad was the rocket sled at last time? Like, I think I may
have. As we say in German, rocket sled is verboten. Verboten.
Yeah. Well, how long would it take to drive? Just like an hour?
Yeah, like it normally does.
If you want to take the rocket sled Chenway, you're welcome to it.
No.
Yep.
If you're traveling at 60 miles an hour on the edge of the fringe path, then yes, it takes, an hour. So it just depends on how fast you want to drive.
I'm not in a big damn hurry, so I'm going to drive down the fringe.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Yeah, if a thrill seeker wants to take the rocket sled, you're welcome to it.
Yep, we're in the vehicle.
I'm not a thrill seeker, so I'm going with the rocket with the vehicle.
Everybody's been on the rocket sled, haven't they?
Yes.
I think so.
I got through it with one Xanax, but I wish I'd taken two.
I don't know how that would feel if whipping your neck around like that unsupported.
Probably hurts.
Wasn't easy.
You can take 1 to 2 hours to drive there, or you can take 15 minutes on the rocket sled.
I will take 1 hour and 20 minutes to drive there.
An hour and
all right, very good.
Okay then.
So you do. Give me a luck check.
Yeah, a luck check? Okay.
Probably Fringeworthy.
I got another 6.
Oh, you lucked out. You didn't run into any fringe weather, and you didn't run anybody coming the other direction, even though I said it was unlikely. If you rolled a 1, then yeah. Probably would have been another IDET team going somewhere else.
We just switch vehicles and go.
Yeah, it goes to the portal, and you see, and basically you see that giant superstructure that they build around all the portals on their platform. Jace, and it's like it's this enormous Blade Runner assemblage of sparks and smoke and various things like that. The air is foul. It's though it doesn't. since the Demixi, they normally sound like they're wheezing when they talk out of their spiracles anyways, you might not be able to tell the difference.
You're talking out of your spherical.
So, yeah, he's always talking out of his right spherical. Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of a shit.
Never trust a word he says. Okay, so we pull up to the IDET center.
Yay.
The IDET.
Okay, so you go through the portal that goes to where, the IDET warehouse is, where, mostly they do resupplying of IDET personnel and such. So they have all of the Fringeworthy that they have are already out on other teams, because they have it's not 1 out of 100,000 on this world. It's like 1 out of 1,000,000.
Oh, so they have
the
less.
nice thing about it, they have less, not more.
All
right then.
And Ken, this is meta knowledge, but the whole the whole goes through the portal while you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for them.
Because they lay eggs, right?
Because the queen would have to be pregnant, would have to be Fringeworthy to start with.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, the induced Fringeworthiness could happen. Know about it. That's something that really only happens in the middle campaign.
Yeah.
Well, they have some questions about it because, for example, they know that the Victorians, that Lord
Greystone,
Greystone, Lord Greystone is fringe. So is his man at arms, generation older. They're both Fringeworthy. Seems odd that combination happened. So they wonder about it.
Isn't it also if you live near a portal, you can become Fringeworthy as well? No,
has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a crystal and handle it regularly.
So in the other guys,
one of these you can't just go and have a crystal and handle it once and then whammo, you're Fringeworthy. It takes time for it to happen.
So the one in that one guy's adventure where he had the guy that used to eat his lunch at the same picnic bench right near the portal, the warp, that wouldn't actually happen then. That was just his interpretation of the game.
Yes.
Gotcha.
A lot of people who wonder about Fringeworthiness, what causes it, but they've already know that twins aren't both Fringeworthy. That rarely it's generational, at least until later on they do discover that that a couple instances where mom and child are also Fringeworthy. They're not related.
What about
Fringeworthy?
Have they had any children of two Fringeworthy people being Fringeworthy yet?
Not yet.
That is, I don't think there's any examples of two Fringeworthy people who are like that, because there's so few teams right now, so nobody is hooked up and gotten married and gotten pregnant together yet.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most people kind of feel like having a baby is going to get in the way of being an adventurer.
So they're waiting for people to retire at this point.
Or they're waiting for the Fringeworthy program to get big enough that
they don't have to.
that are not actively are not actively exploring and are doing more secondaries, people that are
follow-up
just
visitations,
engaging in things that are not direct combat, not so dangerous.
Right. So, like with the characters the previous characters that left the party, Angel's kind of stuck over on the Dragon World. Almost Camelot. Right. And then we have like Susan, who left and some of the other characters that have left since, would they eventually go back out into like follow-up tasks, like follow-up teams or something like that, or if we find something useful, or is that a
character? Yeah. I mean, IDET's never going to say, "Hey, you're Fringeworthy." I mean, yes, I'm sorry, they will do that. If you're insane, commit atrocities, IDET will say, "No, you can't go back on the Fringe Pass, or you Fringe Pass in the first place." But generally speaking, they will never say, "No, we don't want you on the Fringe Pass. You're not good enough." People that are handicapped, they're going to try to find an accommodation that are handicapped in the secondary roles, like truck drivers, like people that do work in things like the with the political side of it.
Oh, okay.
And then the people that run the restaurant.
Yeah, the people that run the restaurant. They don't have to be they don't have to be completely intact in order to do that.
The one-armed chef. Okay.
When I was growing up, there was a guy who worked at the post office. He basically had his hand gone, and his forearm was split up the middle into like where they could open up, and he could open his hand and grab things like levers and move things around and did stuff with it it's like a pincher. His forearm had been turned.
That's
big
terrifying.
Meat pincher.
I
It
know,
wasn't to
my
me. I
dad
just
worked
thought it was interesting. Yeah, it didn't scare me.
That would freak the heck out of me.
It is pretty creepy.
And when I was in first grade, I had someone in who was a classmate, and she had some kind of old. They went and chopped off all but 2 fingers. Her hand. She just had little little black nubs where at the base of her hand. Scared me. I was like, how the hell that can happen to anybody?
The little bad baby.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't. No, there's something else wrong. She either had like bone cancer or something else, or some flesh-eating bacteria problem that they had to lop off.
Wow.
And not just in one hand, both hands. Yeah, they both had problems.
Goodness.
And they weren't the same fingers either.
Huh.
The thumb on one and a bunch of things, and he's kept the thumb on the other.
Yeah, can we change the subject,
anyways,
please?
You get to the main office, and the guy's there that you've met many times, and he's like, "Oh, you guys again. Hey, how's the ambulance working out for you?"
What was that?
How's that ambulance working out for you? That Humvee ambulance.
Oh, yeah. Right now it's back on Earth because we only brought 1 truck this time.
The wee woo van.
And I remember all the effort we went to basically make it usable by humans again. I mean, we'd already printed out for Demixie.
Yeah, we do appreciate the effort. So I got another challenge for you. Do you guys have any Fringeworthy engineers?
Well, all Demixie are kind of engineers.
Yeah, but how many?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you should tell me what it is you need done, and then maybe we can see whether or not there's anybody that have those skills.
We want to turn a computer on.
We want to fire up a fusion or a fusion reactor.
Oh, I mean, like that thing that one team found on that with the man-eating plants?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Not quite the same. Different technology, so to speak. But this one, you need to prime it before you can fire it up. And we have instructions, but we don't have any way to prime it. And we don't really know what to flip. So We were kind of hoping that you guys might have a nuclear engineer here.
Reactors, you mean like some deuterium?
I have no idea. Do you have a nuclear engineer that is Fringeworthy? Let me roll D100,000.
Roux, out of game. I thought we just needed to supply the right power to that inlet for 20 hours to get the thing started.
Okay, so
am I understanding?
I know
that
we took a reading with lasers of what the shape of that thing is.
Yes. I thought that what we needed to do was already settled.
No, I was checking to see if they had an engineer that could come with us first, because that would be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Sure.
Now we have to talk about fabricating a generator that can create this kind of power that runs on its own, basically, without having to be powered up first.
Yeah, should run for at least 20 hours on one load, and produces this this kind of this kind of voltage, this kind of frequency, this kind of power.
And since it's D, you don't have to worry about the frequency or anything.
Okay, all right, it's okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but an awful lot of worlds are using DC rather than AC, which has been very helpful to you.
Yeah, that I've noticed. It's odd, but I've noticed. Chuck have noticed.
You, Chuck, have noticed?
Okay.
Yes. Chuck and Mike both noticed.
Lovely.
Okay, yeah.
And it's always a weird voltage DC too. It's never 24 volt. It's always 27 volt or 31 volts or something odd like that.
Well, the Philippines uses 220 actually.
Right, but that's still not an odd number. It's a rounded number.
Not. Well, anyway,
and that's only one. And most of Europe uses 220 as well.
That's
America
correct.
uses 110 for some reason. 110, 220, and 330.
There you go. Anyway, so I show them the specs of what we need.
I think he froze now.
He's looking at his computer.
I was just typing something.
He's typing in the chat.
Well, all it says is that 24 volts are safer because they use less power.
Right.
So that's all I'm getting from the AI internet.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Okay. So they running off a dollar. Sure, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to like, what do they call it? Rewrap some stuff and make some step up, step down formers and whatnot. But I'm sure we can get it done.
Sounds good.
Roll me a D4.
Okay. 3.
3 days later, you're ready to go. Anything else you wanted done during that period of time?
Well, yes, we wanted to look for some
air travel.
Yeah, jet or a plane.
Write a report and send it back to IDET of what we already found. And during the 3 days, we have time to do that.
They have every form of air travel that's on Earth Prime. So you and they have a preference for dirigibles, by the way.
Yeah, we had some trouble with the last one.
But that had weird gravity, though.
They put a lot They really put fast forward on getting that thing ready for you, and then you ended up not using it like very shortly after getting there. So,
that wasn't my
but,
choice. I just want to say
anyways,
that.
so they so they're like so whatever you want. I mean, they've got fixed wing, they've got rotary wing, jets. They say they got rocket power if you want. I mean, they definitely have rocket assist and even suborbital rocket boosters that you can use.
Would anything other than a balloon or dirigible even
very
work?
quickly?
I'm experienced with propeller-driven planes.
Yeah, as long as it'll fit through the portal, there is that's your real limitation.
All right.
You might have to construct it, like reassemble it on the other side.
And how far do those things go?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
What do you
hold 5 people?
To know?
Hold on. I know it's in here somewhere.
So the North American X-15 was a hypersonic rocket power craft. But I know there was but it only went 10 miles. It was a point-to-point flight from the Mojave to California set in 2005. So rocket planes are designed to either go really high up or really, really, really fast, but they don't seem to be really designed primarily distance.
I'm looking right now at a turboprop aircraft. I can hold like 5-6 people.
What's a peregrine tilt rotor?
It's basically one where they, especially with the spinning props, which then rotate down forward and drive the plane forward once you get to altitude.
What does it say? Size anywhere? Size large. I don't know what that means.
The fastest turboprop aircraft is considered the Piaggio P180 Avanti twin-engine turboprop with a maximum cruise speed of 370 to 380 knots. Known for its ability to fly at flight level 10 with most weather.
Tactical helicopter.
What book are you guys looking at?
Yeah, the one nice thing is that unless you go to a cargo plane or a bomber, generally speaking, these planes will fit through the portal. You just have to detach the wings.
Right. Carry fuel, all that other stuff.
Reattach on the other side.
Yep. Yeah, the Peregrine's got a range of almost 2,000 miles at a speed up to 270 miles per hour.
You have to go to kilometers. You want something that preferably you'd want something 4,000 miles, 4,000 kilometers.
Okay, yeah, all right. It means we have to refuel one if we use the Peregrine.
Why aren't these showing range?
Which book are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Savage Worlds book. It doesn't have
Oh, I'm looking at the Fringeworthy book. 92 Fringeworthy book.
You're probably going to need something. Okay, that's fine. Look at the 2000. I mean the the one, the latest one, the D20.
Yeah, it didn't have much in there.
For
It had the
planes?
tilt rotor. Yeah, it had the tilt rotor and like a 777, and it's like, wow, okay. Well, I think something with VTOL ability would be good, but a helicopter is not going to have the range or the speed.
Yeah, you probably want a fixed wing aircraft, possibly an Ultra to give the best range.
Well, this Raven Land Sea, is that this helicopter thing?
No, the Raven Land Sea is a plane.
There's no picture of it though.
Corrupt. Yeah, that only carries one passenger though. We'd need 3 of them.
The Raven does? Oh yeah, one pilot and one passenger. Okay, so the Peregrine tilt rotor is 47 feet long. Rotor width is 26 feet times 2.
Yep, 52 feet.
Where's the width of it though? Weight, speed 270 miles per hour. Range is 1,980 miles.
Yep.
Pilot and 5 passengers or 1,000 pounds of cargo.
That's over 3,000 kilometers.
I mean, we have ultralights that have gone all the way around the world without without refueling, but they use solar power, which you don't have.
Which we don't have. So
Correct,
what about
yes.
this? What's fuel tank? 110 gallons.
Right.
Okay, so do they have a Peregrine tilt rotor?
Or something like it.
They have something like it.
That a human can use? That's the other thing.
So the Embraer Predator 600 is a super mid-sized private jet that can accommodate 12 passengers, has a range of roughly 4,000 nautical miles.
Wow, how big is it?
That sounds good.
That's a jet,
a good
by the
question.
way.
I mean, it is a jet.
Alrighty.
It's a private jet.
That's going to be pretty big.
Yep.
That's if you want to fly.
Well, this Raven Land Sea, we could actually get through.
The option of hoping that you can get there by train track, I should say.
Well, you can
bring. I mean, that does allow you to bring more fuel with you.
Yes.
If we do a path on the track.
Yeah.
That would be the other. So I'm going to clip this real quick. I don't know if this is the picture that goes with it or if something else goes with it. And I'll paste it in the chat.
All right.
That's what I'm seeing for this.
I mean, you guys could go all in and just say, well, we're going to fly over there and ditch the airplane and just hope that these people that sending this message are going to be able to give us a way back.
Yeah,
that's a big hope.
New hope, yeah. Okay.
No. Is it any more risky than then anything else that you guys do?
Well, we try to leave ourselves an out, though, and the ability to get back. I mean, we could just drive. It wouldn't be fast, but we could drive.
Yeah, yeah. I think we should drive. That
Days
way
on
we
the
can bring
road.
all our equipment with us and such.
Yeah, that would be good, except we're not really sure we can get over, the ocean now. The waters, we found a lot of the waters dried up, so maybe we can get over the ocean.
If
but we
there's
don't
even
know
an
that.
ocean there. If there's
Right.
not an ocean, then we have to deal with getting to where the ocean was and down the.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be even more treacherous because
Well,
of.
considering Copenhagen was a large metropolitan city, I'm sure they have ways to cross the waterways if they are still there.
Well, that was all before the ocean levels
Bridges
rose. It
were
was
made
all
before the
land.
bridges were made. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it was all landmass called Dodger Land. So
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about.
Great Britain wasn't always an island.
Ah. Okay. All right. All right. Once we get the generator, then we'll head back to the vehicle.
Well, you're jumping ahead here. We haven't determined how we're doing this.
All right. Okay.
I was waiting for yes or no on this tilt rotor thing that's would fit through the portal.
Yeah, if you want it, yes. Let's see, it's got a range of 19. Okay, so the biggest issue here is, like I said, you're not going to be able to carry the tankage you need in order to make the return trip. This will pretty much get you pretty close to where you need to go.
So,
but it won't get you.
What was the name of that place? No, I've got. Where are we going from? Nazgul, Novagard, Lazalo.
Viniki Novgorod. Flying distance. Driving distance was about 2,000 kilometers. If we just fly there, and it's 1159 kilometers, 726 miles. So it's actually a lot further to drive there than it is to fly
Right,
there.
because you have to go down and around and up.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's 700 and how many miles?
It's 726 miles. Okay. I guess to the center of town of Copenhagen. Okay. It's equal to 1169 kilometers. And you just said that
it's got almost 2,000 mile range.
It's still not enough to get you there, but see 1,000 pounds of carbon. Problem is it okay?
Wait a minute. Time out. You said it's 726 miles from point A to point B as the crow flies. It's got a range of 1980, so it would be a round trip would be 1452.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's in miles. I was doing.
So we'd still have 500 miles, basically.
You theoretically can fly there and back with the peregrine tilt rotor or its equivalent.
All right. Very good.
So you can get it's basically a pilot and 5 passengers or 1,000 pounds of cargo. That's what you can carry on that thing. I was trying to see how much more fuel you can carry, but it doesn't. We don't need that. So
we could take some extra fuel
on it. Oh, I don't know if you want it. I mean, considering the fact that you've got, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to carry no equipment except your persons. I mean, it's basically whatever it is. What outside the pilot, you've got 1,000 pounds of cargo you can carry with you.
Okay.
You know, just plan for that. I don't know what your characters weigh. Whatever's left, that's how much you have for food and water, medical supplies, camping
Okay.
gear, whatever else you want to take with you.
Here
Armament,
comes the
you know,
math.
munitions, you know.
Math.
It all depends on how much you want to do there. I personally would not want to do all that. When I first started playing Fringeworthy, I loved that stuff. Okay, but I don't want to do that now. But it's up to you guys.
That's one of the
Right
joys
now,
of flying
I would say
is
that
weight and balance.
what you guys can carry, what you guys can carry on you. Okay, there's 4 of you. All right, so I would say that it would be what you can carry, and one pilot. So yeah, that's me. You in a backpack, okay?
Well,
You know,
there's only 4 of
something
us, so
I know, but I'm still saying is that you're not all 100-pound people.
no, but even if we were all 200-pound people, that would still only be.
Well, it's a pilot and 1,000 pounds.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So
us and our gear, maybe a little food and water and shit like that. Some extra shit.
If you carry 100-pound packs, there's 4 of you. Okay, that's 400 pounds there. All right. And then if you're each weigh around, let's say 200 pounds, there's 3 of you, so that's 600. There's your 1,000.
Well, Angel doesn't weigh that much, but anyways, yes, you're right. I'm kidding.
I said 100-pound pack. Those are hefty packs.
That's a huge pack. Yes.
Yep. Sure.
That's what you use when you go climbing up Everest, but that's kind of what you guys as Fringeworthy people do when you don't have vehicles.
Yep.
To carry your stuff for you. So I'm just saying know what you want to carry with you, but I think that's a good rule of thumb that you basically.
We are going to need to bring a small generator with us because we have no way of getting solar power. So to keep our gear working, some of our gear working, we're going to need a generator. So that's part of the weight.
Unless you want to use muscle power, right?
Yep.
That because this power station was working that there of Veliki Novosgrad, there may be other power stations that are set up the same way.
Right. And
you could theoretically get them going. But
one of the things we do need to realize is.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we wouldn't use any of we'd take all the hard points off. So I'm guessing we don't need a 30mm chain gun and Hellfire missiles and all that crap. So
that all goes to that cargo thing. It has, it has a 30mm chain gun is the only real weapon that's on this thing.
The hard points can hold stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but that's so you're not taking the hard points off. I'm just saying you could take this 30mm chain gun off, and that would give you some more extra.
A lot of weight
stuff you would carry.
Yeah, I don't think we need
how much that thing weighs.
30mm chain guns, they're heavy as shit. That's what's on the Warthog, the big nose gun. It's the gun built with a plane built around it.
That is approximately 170 pounds. That's the XM914. Okay. The Bushmaster is 480 pounds. So there's a variety. Some of them are 620. It varies. I would go with the 170-pound one.
Okay.
Just saying is that you can put different weights on. It all comes of that, so I don't know. Let's just say if you want to take it off, we'll round it up to 200.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, then the ammunition itself would weigh a lot too. But
anyway, they'll give you an extra 200 pounds if you want that.
We can also charge stuff off of the helicopter's generator as well. while it's running. So
while it's running. You do have some extra gas, so you can still do that.
okay,
right.
so let's plan on this. We'll trailer up one of these. I'm guessing it's. They aren't really clear on what it is, but it says length 47 feet, 26 times 2, so it's just 2 rotors, so that it goes lengthwise. They hang out over the edges, and so we need to put that on a trailer, obviously, to haul it down the path through the portal. And water 5 gallons. Okay. Yep. Or 5 gravities, one of the two. Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right, sounds good.
Does it sound like we have to assemble it? We just have to park
the
trailer and take off.
The wings do fold, so you're going to be able to put them back down and then use the,
Well, let's plan on that. So,
Sounds
Mike,
good.
let's get it. I mean, if that'll work, then we'll do it that way.
I'll give it a shot.
I mean, I've got pilot as
haven't
well.
flown a helicopter in a long time, but I'll give it a shot.
Now, these things were actually not used originally with the Fringeworthy because there were objections to using military vehicles on the Fringe Pass.
Yes.
This wasn't a message we wanted to send, but hey,
except for
doesn't mean they didn't exist. Didn't mean they didn't exist. Okay, actually, they don't exist really on Earth anymore. But I'm just saying is that on Demixi Prime, I'm sure they have something similar.
Okay. Yeah, it's not exact, I'm sure. But my question is what can humans operate it, or is it going to be days of trying?
Yeah, remember that it's going to be designed for a Demixi, so therefore it's going to have controls that can be handled by the bipedal upper part of it. Okay, and then it's going to have foot pedals that are going to be off to the sides because the legs go off that direction and such. So they might have to go and change some of the controls so that they could be handled by the hands only.
All right.
The feet. They might have a lot of stuff going with the feet because it's going to be basically like a place for a horse. Okay, for the cockpit. All right.
I didn't realize they were horse-sized.
Sort of the opposite of hand controls on a car.
Okay, if you imagine a centaur being pony-sized, then yes.
Okay.
That would be what it'd be like. You got a picture of them. I mean,
there's no size reference though. Just the one holding up the bra.
They're supposed to be man-sized. Yes.
So if they stood up on their hind legs, they'd be about the same height as a man, or if they're standing on all legs and their torso is the same height as a man?
I think that they would be taller than a man if they stood up, using using their abdomen as a counterbalance. I would say that they would be taller than a man, but you know.
Size 4'7".
But I'm just saying is that they still fall within that kind of man size, but with a really, if you like big butts, the Demixi are your go-to.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Well, I guess during the 3 days that we're working on getting this generator built, I'll work on adapting the whoop to human controls.
Okay.
Do we need repair checks, or what do you want to do on that?
Yeah, that would be a repair check.
All right, sounds good.
And we're all working together, so we might be able to assist.
You don't really have to. I'm saying that they've got enough technicians and things like that they can make sure it works. Yeah, I mean, repair checks would only basically tell you how long it took rather than how well it's done. So if you did a really good repair, then I'd say that things just kind of went together really well. You meshed with the engineers, the mechanics that were there to work on the plane and everything. I believe that would mean that, you guys just didn't mix right, They wanted you wanted to do it one way, they wanted to do another. Okay, so this is not working for me. I don't think.
Uh-oh.
I think I'm over. Go ahead.
It says the Demixie, usual saying, boy, I could sure use a beer with dinner. That seems an odd thing for a Demixie to say.
That's what
and they
Mike
like to
says,
smoke.
too.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're adrenaline junkies. They don't they don't care if I mean they live life to the fullest because they really don't have if they didn't live on Demixie Prime, they would have probably double the lifespan that they would.
Yeah, it says 38 years average lifespan.
Right, because basically they all die of cancer.
They're all dude bras.
Yeah.
Yeah. So live, they're and there's an egg with their name on it to replace them as soon as they drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, their gestation period is less than 3 months. So
wow.
That's because it's an egg. Pop it out.
It's an egg.
3 months later, out comes the Demixie. Yeah.
All right.
And
well, I gotta call it here, guys. I gotta be up at 6 o'clock.
Well, it's 10:13. So I'll give you guys. If I think I can close this. Yeah, that was the problem.